boxers, fighters, athletes, current athletes, ex-athletes, people who just want to look good and feel good and move better. This video is for you, and today we are discussing how to properly fuel and recover from your workouts. Spoiler alert, it doesn't include not eating. If I look tired, I am tired. Tired of you guys following bodybuilders' advice on what to do to eat and fuel your workouts and recover from your workouts. When you're not a bodybuilder, you're not preparing for a show where you have to have sub 5% body fat. You're looking to feel good and get the most out of your workout. So in order to do that, not eating and not fueling for the workout is not a good idea for you to get the most from your workouts. So before we get into how to do this, we have to remove some misnomers, some myths that you have to get out of your head when you first get into this. Otherwise, it's not really going to make sense to you. So the first thing for you is energy drinks. There's a time and a place. If you're headed to your workout and you feel like you need energy and you're late and it's one of those placebo things for you, then I get it. I've had energy drinks. I drink energy drinks. I try to stay away from them for obvious reasons. You guys know energy drink company or the supplement company, it's a business. So the idea is for you to be a repeat customer. So let me know if this sounds like you. You have an energy drink in the morning for your morning workout. Midday, you have another energy drink because you crashed. And then you decide to do something at night after work or in the evening for a second workout if you're an athlete and you need another energy drink. And then what happens? You don't go to sleep at the correct time. So all of a sudden you wake up and you repeat. Does that cycle sound familiar for any of you guys? If it does, that's the reason why. Energy drinks, I would say no. If you do need caffeine, I would suggest caffeine tablets. They're more cost effective. You can get a bottle of those for pretty much what you would buy with 2 energy drinks. And those are 30 tablets that you can have, which is pretty much 1 per day. They're 200 milligram. Don't have those on an empty stomach, which is kind of like what we're getting at as well. So, and also black coffee. The reason why you want to do that is you just want it to be clean energy. You don't want it to be anything else that's going to make you crash and want you to make you want to have another one. So caffeine, that's one that we got to change our stance on. 2, zero sugar or 0-calorie drinks before your workout. You're better off having just water. Reason being is this whole entire video, you are fueling for your workout. So you need calories for energy. Number 3, based off of that, low-calorie meals before you go ahead and work out. The idea of a low-calorie meal is that you're not going to do something that is energy, that requires a lot of energy from you. So 0-calorie meals or low-calorie meals before you work out, I'm going to say let's change the thought process on that. And then lastly, no carbs. Having no carbs before your workout. I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, let's change our stance on that. So now we will segue into how do we fuel and recover for our workout. So there is something that you can Google, you can research. It's called a 3-hour breakdown. What that means is 3 hours before you work out, you have some slow-acting carbs, right? Slow-acting carbs, you can think of oats, you can think of rice, you can think of rice cakes. You can go, well, not rice cakes as much. Those are carbs that are going to fill you up a little bit more, but you don't get that energy until a little bit later. Now, 1 hour before your workout, that's when you're going to have more of the fast-acting carbs. So you're thinking of your sugar, you're thinking of your bananas, you're thinking of your fruits, you're thinking of your raw honey. That's when you can go ahead and have the rice cakes as well because they have a little bit more sugar in them. But it's quick-acting carbs. For some of my athletes before, I would give some of my fighters Skittles before their fight. Marshawn Lynch, famous for having Skittles on the sideline. That's energy that you can go ahead and tap into real quick because when it comes to your workouts, most of your energy is going to predominantly come from carbs. So that's how the first step of it. 3 hours before your workout, slow-acting carbs. 1 hour before your workout, you can get into those fasting carbs. Now, 3 times to have carbs around your workout. You have pre-carbs, you have intra-carbs, and you have post-carbs. All these are going to depend on how much time you have to eat before your workout. If you work out early in the morning, it's going to be hard for you to have carbs 3 hours before your workout. So you would just go ahead and say the hour before, or if you wake up and you have your workout 30 minutes before, just make sure that you get some of those carbs in. And then you have intra-workout carbs, which is during your workout carbs that you can have as well. And then you have post-workout carbs, which is carbs after your workout. So what is the reason why you're doing that? Once again, you need to get the most out of your workout. If you're an athlete, the purpose of your workout is to make you better at your field of play, or your strength and conditioning to prepare you for your field of play. So you want to get the most out of your workout. The last example I'll kind of bring up when it comes to this, because I want this video to be quick so you guys can actually apply this as opposed to having to research and study it so much. And we'll bring up a bodybuilding, or we'll bring up a strength and conditioning type exercise. If you trap bar deadlift 315, right? And you normally do that when you have a lot of energy, right? And this day says that you have to lift on the trap bar 315 by 3. So that's 3 sets of 3 reps on the trap bar. And you pair that with another workout, like maybe pogos, a low level plyometric like I have in my system, or Cal Dietz will have in the system for triphasic training. If you don't eat and you don't fuel yourself when you go into that workout on that particular day, and it feels like your body can only give you 225, the question is, do you think you got more out of that workout than you would if you didn't fuel yourself properly? The answer is obviously no. So you want to be as close to fueled as possible to get the most out of your workouts. Now, when it comes to recovery, you want to go ahead and put back in your body what got taken out during the workout. So to sum this all up, that's the number one thing. You do need to fuel your workouts with food. With good food. If you want suggestions on what type of foods you should have, I have a complete system for you that eliminates all the guesswork. But also as well, if you want to know how many carbs you should have around your workout, because for example, if I tell you have 30 grams of carbs before your workout, 30 during, and 30 after, well, if you're watching this and you're 150 pounds, you're like, is that enough? Or is it too much? If you're watching this and you're like, if you're 250 pounds, does that sound like enough for you, or is it too much? So you take the foundations of how the system works, and it needs to be applied to you, applied to what your specific goals are, what you're looking to go ahead and accomplish. But back to square one, spoiler alert. If you're looking to fuel and recover from your workouts, not eating is not the best idea. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully that added value. I make videos based on the questions that you guys asked. Comment below any other questions that you have regarding this video. I do have the free quiz and the links as well for you, so you can figure out where you should start according to you and according to what your goals are. If you're in Orange County area, I have in-person training for you. I have online training for you as well. And the goal of this and the source method is to teach you to be the source. Understanding how to teach yourself how to work out, so that way you won't need me anymore. You won't need a trade anymore. You just want to have me because you understand when my eyes are on you, you can eliminate all the guesswork and you just focus on your workouts. But hopefully that helped out. I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully this was quick. Apply it quickly and we'll go from there.